The year is 1815. Europe is on the brink of destruction. One man, Napoleon Bonaparte, has reshaped the very landscape of the continent. But on June 18, 1815, at the Battle of Waterloo, everything changes. Today, we unravel how this battle shocked the world and forever altered the course of history. To understand the gravity of Waterloo, we need to first grasp how we got here. Napoleon Bonaparte, a genius strategist and military commander, rose from humble beginnings to become the Emperor of France. His ambition, though, was unmatched. By the time he reached the height of his power, his empire stretched across much of Europe, from Spain to Russia. But Napoleon's quest for dominance had come at a cost. In 1812, his disastrous campaign in Russia had crippled his army. By 1814, he was forced into exile on the island of Elba. But Napoleon was not one to accept defeat easily. In 1815, he escaped, returned to France, and quickly reclaimed his throne in what became known as the 100 Days. But with Napoleon back in power, Europe was in chaos once more. The Allies, Britain, Prussia, Russia, and Austria, had no choice but to confront him once and for all. By June 1815, Napoleon faced an unprecedented coalition of forces. On one side, we have the French army, led by Napoleon himself, fiercely determined to secure victory. On the other, the Allies, the Duke of Wellington commanding British and Dutch troops, and the Prussian General Blücher leading his forces from the east. The stage was set for a battle that would decide the fate of Europe. The terrain was muddy, the weather unpredictable, and the stakes higher than ever. Napoleon knew that if he could win here, he could secure his reign once again. But the odds were not in his favor. The Allies had a unified front, and their resolve was just as firm. The Battle of Waterloo was not just a clash of armies, it was a test of strategy. Napoleon, renowned for his brilliant military tactics, began the battle with a calculated approach. His plan was to divide and conquer. He aimed to strike the Allies before they could unite fully. But his plan began to unravel as unexpected challenges arose. Wellington's forces held their ground despite early setbacks, and Napoleon's forces faced delays in reinforcements. And then, just as the French thought they were gaining the upper hand, Prussian forces under Blücher arrived on the battlefield, turning the tide of the conflict. Napoleon's army, once the epitome of strength, was now in disarray. As the Prussians joined forces with Wellington, Napoleon's elite troops began to falter. The shock was palpable. For the first time in his career, Napoleon faced a true, decisive defeat. His once invincible aura shattered as his soldiers retreated from the battlefield. The result was catastrophic. Napoleon's dreams of European dominance crumbled. The Battle of Waterloo was not just a military defeat, it marked the end of an era. The reign of Napoleon Bonaparte was over. Following the battle, Napoleon was forced into exile once more, this time to the remote island of St. Helena, where he would live out the rest of his life in isolation. The Allies, victorious, reshaped Europe at the Congress of Vienna, redrawing borders and establishing a new balance of power. The consequences of Waterloo were profound. The Napoleonic Wars, which had raged across Europe for over a decade, were finally over. The victory of the Allies created a period of relative peace in Europe known as the Concert of Europe, which lasted for nearly a century. But the echoes of Waterloo could be heard far beyond Europe. Waterloo was more than just a battle. It was a turning point in history. It signaled the end of the Napoleonic Empire and the birth of a new geopolitical order. But even in defeat, Napoleon's legacy endured. His reforms, his vision for Europe, and his genius on the battlefield would continue to inspire military leaders and revolutionaries for generations to come. The shock of his fall reverberated across the globe, and the world would never be the same. The Battle of Waterloo was not just a military clash, it was the moment the world changed forever. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this deep dive into the Battle of Waterloo, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The past is full of lessons, and sometimes those lessons come from the most unexpected moments in history.